Hello friends, today is December 31st, 2020. The time is 4:39 p.m. Calgary.
And you are now 50 years old.
Thank you, Laurie, for reminding me. I'm sure there are a few friends and people who would be very happy to hear that now I'm officially 50. So, what crossed my mind that I was gonna ask Laurie something that he doesn't even know about. So he's driving right here, and I wanted to capture Laurie's thoughts on me. So, Laurie, you have been my mentor, my guide, my friend for a few years. I really want to capture your thoughts about me so I can see how I should get better, how I can evolve myself and do more things in my life. So first of all, some of the questions I'm going to ask is, first question is, what do you think of me? Like, what kind of person do you think I am? And please be honest in all your responses. So the first question is, what do you think, what kind of person I am?
Well, I think you're a person who values understanding how to do something correctly. The majority of people aren't so concerned about that. People think they pay attention to doing things correctly, but that hasn't been my experience in observing people. The way you are preparing for Everest tells me that you are taking the goals seriously and you're putting in the time, the energy, and the work in getting ready to do it by learning new skills, by committing to getting out on a regular basis. So that tells me you know about dedication and about discipline. I would say those things, and I am saying those things because as it gets closer to your departure date, you're going to be calling upon that discipline more so. Because if you want to go to Everest with the full benefit of having prepared properly for the number of years you've allocated, you're going to need to get stronger and more fit. And I don't pressure it at this stage because we're learning basic techniques. Going in the mountain, how to protect yourself, how to clothe yourself, what kind of food to take, how to recognize where there's danger. But so that you don't become a victim when you go to Everest, as you near your departure date, as we get closer, the stuff we'll do will be more difficult. And you'll have to work on getting stronger and fitter. Why? Because I don't want to see you go to Everest and end up suffering the whole way trying to get up it. Everest can demand everything you have and more. Now, did it demand that of me? I don't know. Everest was very kind to me. It was very kind. I, to this day, still wonder why the mountain was so gentle with me. But I've seen what it does to other people. And it can take everything you got. So, you know, as you want me to do an assessment of you as a person, well, it's that I really admire your willingness to put the hard work in figuring out how to do something correctly. In this case, that something is climb a mountain and how to do it well and effectively and efficiently and safely. I mean, we can go into many other aspects, but we'll keep it on that because that's how I know you mostly, is from what we've done in the mountains.
Okay.
But I have noticed when we've had dinner and been in a restaurant, you've got a side to yourself that's it's more evolved than that part in me, and that is you're quite considerate of other people. When you told the waitress that you'll cover the cost of this gentleman who was sitting at another table and looked like he was appreciating very much his meal. He looked like he prayed over the meal before he ate it. And you told him, don't tell him who paid for it, just I'll cover it. Well, that to me says a lot about your lack of selfishness. You know, people will always accuse other people of being selfish, but I know what real selfishness looks like. And I don't think you're a selfish person. I think you're very kind. And that rates high in my way of assessing people. I don't care how intelligent, good-looking, wealthy people are. If they don't have a kind heart, they don't impress me. And I think you got a kind heart, Giddish.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
Continuing with some more questions. Knowing what you know about me, whether through hiking or personal, or you've been to my office a couple of times, or whatever, social setting, doing presentations together. So thinking of all those things, what are like some of my personality attributes you think I should take with me in the future? Some of my personality attributes that you think I should take with me in the future.
Okay, well, the ones that have tremendous value for what you're doing.
Yes.
And I know you're approaching this from the perspective that I said you completed 7 sequences of 7 years, finishing when you turn 50. And then you get a break of a couple of years before your second series of 7 times 7 begins. So if you're looking back on your life, some of the qualities that are really valuable to carry into the future is, as I mentioned before, your dedication. Dedication to what? Dedication to whatever it is you're doing it correctly. Your dedication to being fair with people. Your dedication to being kind. Those really, really matter. Now, where you can maybe, I don't want to say improve, but what you may look at would be raising up the commitment to discipline, like bringing it up 10% or 20%. Because when you go to Everest, you should be in your peak form, both mentally and physically. That would really help you, when you're there. Anything else that I might suggest is kind of, it's my bias. And I don't know if it would be good for you. I always think having a good sense of humor is helpful, but who am I to tell somebody that they should have a sense of humor,
Right.
And my humor is different than most people, so that may not be valid. I think you're doing really well, and I think now that you've completed what's defined as your first life, 7 times 7, so 49 years, when you're relaxing and reflecting on how this first part of your life has gone, these first 49 years, you'll start to recognize the qualities that you want to carry into the future, and the ones that you feel aren't serving you well, you'll recognize as well as ones you may need help in letting go of. And how do you do that? Well, I told you about the energy of the West when the sun sets. There's that period of time right at the end of the day when you can ask for assistance in letting go of things that are difficult to let go of. So that part, what you want to let go of, I have to leave that up to you to look at in your life when you're in a reflective mood,
Well, Laurie is so smart. My next question was going to be, and I will still ask him this question. So what are some of the personality attributes I should not take with me in the future? Whatever you have observed, out of them, if you were to say, Girish, these are the 2 or 3 attributes you should be dropping and don't worry about these in the future, what would those be?
Well, self-criticism. You don't need to be so hard on yourself when you try something and it doesn't work. You need to be a little more kind to yourself and go, okay, that didn't work. Okay, let's look at this again. Instead of giving too much credibility to the fact that you didn't do it. That happens to all of us. You just gotta not let, when you don't succeed at something, you gotta not let that get to you. Pat yourself on the back like you would someone else who's trying. Reinforce them by, reminding them how far they've come, and then get back up and try it again. So less self-critical, I'd like to see you build your confidence up more and more. And one of the best ways of doing that is when you take people out on your own and you're safeguarding them. Because all the things I've tried to show you, either by example or by teaching you, you're going to strengthen them by going out with people that are looking to you for guidance. And you can always check with me to make sure that what you're taking them on is within your ability level. I would work more on that. Okay, things not to take into the future.
Yes. Whatever you observed in me that should not be carried.
Yeah, don't underestimate yourself, Giddish. If you're willing to be disciplined and keep at this, you're going to get better by leaps and bounds. You just have to be patient. So have more confidence in yourself. Don't underestimate yourself. You're healthy. You're disciplined. You're outgoing. That's all going to serve you well for the Everest part. And it may serve you well in other areas of your life too.
Okay. Thank you, Laurie. I have lots of thoughts to reflect, to comment when Laurie is saying anything, but this is Laurie's time. And so these are the attributes to carry and not carry. And how about some of the attributes I should acquire with the passage of time that I do not possess at this time, but you think they will be very good for me to live a good life and help others? Whatever I want to do in my life. Some attributes that I should acquire that I don't have currently.
Well, if I think of the attributes that I value, I see them in you already, and I've mentioned them. You seem to have a respect for other people and a consciousness of being fair and kind to people. Maybe one thing I might suggest that you could reflect on a little bit is I think you exude an aura of trust that people respond to. It may be why your business, I shouldn't comment on your business, but I think one of the reasons you're good at what you do is people trust you. They look up to you. And I told you before, you've got this essence of what a king soul is. Maybe pay a little more attention to how much you touch people and how much you inspire people. I think you've got good leadership qualities that you're not fully aware of just yet. But I think that's going to come out more in your second life as you see that you really are a leader.
So, thank you, Laurie.
You're welcome.
I wish I had time to comment on everything you're saying and how meaningful it is to hear your thoughts. But when we talk about life in general, I got my life, you got your life. What do you think I should take my life as? And what do you think I should do? What should I do with my life?
Yeah, well, the first thing is, I would say, is develop gratitude. Now, how do you do that? Well, your life is a gift. Most of us don't know where it came from. We just find ourselves alive. Some of us wonder about it, like where do we come from? Where does it go? What happens? So, a wise man told me many years ago that the first step towards wisdom, understanding the wisdom that you possess, the first step before you can open that door is having gratitude for your life, being grateful for what you possess. So on a regular basis, and it depends who you think you're talking to. Some need to go in church to think they're talking to God. Others, like myself, see spirit everywhere. It's in the prairie, it's in the mountains, it's in people that I encounter. It's in myself. So, first thing I'd say is, a day shouldn't go by in your life. A day shouldn't go by in your life where you don't express your thankfulness, your gratitude for something that took place in that day. You wake up with your health. You're not sick with COVID. You've got work. You employ other people. Other people are in better shape because of your advice and the services that you offer. Like, actually acknowledge what you have to be grateful for. You know, there's a lot of people that have no purpose in their life. They're not making money, they're not working, they're sick, they're ill. None of that's affecting either you or I. So I would say that's one thing that you could cultivate. And that's a broad topic.
Yes, that's why I need your views on. My next life has started, so.
Well, I think here's something I learned about King Souls. I was told that, 7 roles, right? 2 action roles, king and warrior. 2 inspirational roles, priest and server. 2 expressive roles, sages and artisans. And then a neutral role called a scholar, who's a master of knowledge. So when I was studying what King Souls are all about, I was told all the other roles look at problems in life and see what could go wrong and see just the difficulties in getting to some place that they're inspired to try to reach. And King Souls, when they look at the same picture, they see nothing but opportunity and possibilities. So if that's a part of your natural ability, I'd say cultivate it. And recognize that many people don't see the possibilities in life. They see the obstacles. So, when you told somebody the first time that I think I want to go climb Everest, they probably just thought of all the things that are going to get in the way, make it impossible and difficult. But you've worked your way into a position now where you've dedicated so many days every week to getting better, to developing your skill set, to developing a foundation of knowledge of the mountains, so that when you go to Everest, you're not going as a neophyte, as an innocent, and you're not going as a victim. You're gonna know when you go there both the frightening side of Everest and the good side too. So I think reminding yourself that you have that natural ability to see possibilities where others only see problems.
Wow, thank you. We are about to get to my place. Maybe we'll park our car and continue this conversation for a few more minutes. But next thing was, when I go to mountains, I do my best to connect with the mountain, to the nature and everything. I really do. And I'm finding my own ways to connect as well as appreciate. But what are some of the ways you will recommend that I should always use to connect myself with the nature, with the mountains, with the power that it possesses and the situations?
Okay, so the simplest way to begin would be recognize that around the world, tobacco is a commonly viewed agent for showing respect. So I would go out and buy a pouch of tobacco.
Okay.
You want to get natural tobacco, stuff that hasn't been processed. And if you need help, I'll get you some if you'd like. And you should always carry some tobacco with you, so that before you begin the day, and it doesn't have to be in front of other people, you can just step to the side, say, I'm just going to the bathroom, get out of sight of people, take out the tobacco, know where the directions are, and first of all, address the spirit of the land and say, Spirit of this land, I come with respect. I ask permission to be out here. I seek no confrontation and no violence. And I make this offering of tobacco as a sign of my respect. And then I can explain to you the value of the 4 directions: east, south, west, north, Father Sky, and Mother Earth. And you address those 6 directions just to show respect. Throughout the day, when you stop briefly, take a moment to just internally send your salutations out to the land. Thank the land for being there for your enjoyment. Thank the weather for all that it brings. Sun, wind, cold, heat. Everything has a value. So be appreciative of that. The simple act of doing that is going to start tuning you in more and more to what's going on. Next one. I would start with that rather than we get too complicated. There's other things you can do. But if you begin with that, then I can give you more to add on to.
Okay. Thank you. Just last couple of more questions and then we are done. And we are actually here, but we'll just park. Is this okay if we continue? So, you can get in here and then this is where we are. So, next question was, when I'm in a difficult situation in the mountains or otherwise in life, what do you think I should do, or how should I handle difficult situations on the mountains as well as in life?
Well, first of all, recognize that you have a higher part of yourself that isn't engaged when we're in our personality, just living our life. There's a higher part of yourself that's connected to the spirit that's created everything. You can call on that higher part of yourself for help to find a solution. It's called your essence, the essence of who and what it is you are. So in the mountains, I would recommend, that you get in the habit of asking the land, the spirit of the mountain, the spirit of the place you're in for assistance and help. Remember that story I told you about taking my daughter on Yamnuska when she was 5-6 years old? We did a tobacco offering at the bottom, slept out underneath the mountain in the meadow the night before, then headed up. And to make a long story short, when we were on the backside going up, it was cold and windy, and she got scared. I wanted to turn around, and I told her, well, we can. Of course we can turn around, but have you asked the mountain for help? And she didn't know what I meant. And I said, well, if there's a spirit of this place, that spirit has intelligence and compassion. If you ask, it'll give you a hand. I said, look to your right. You suggested maybe we should turn around now because you slipped, right? And she said, yeah. I said, well, there's a tree there. If you think of the branches like arms reaching out, it's sticking an arm out. All you got to do is grasp it and use it to balance yourself. So she said, okay, I'll try. And so we started up. And after another 45 minutes, she did much better. She said, I think that's good for today, Dad. And I said, okay. So we went over to the left side where we could get on the edge of the cliff and look over. And got her right to the edge, hung onto her jacket and her pack until she was laying on the edge, looking over the cliff. And then once I saw she was relaxed and the ground was supporting her, I started pointing out things to her. And I saw people coming up the trail, so I tried to show her where they were, and she couldn't see them. She couldn't get it. So I explained to her where there was a big white boulder, and when she saw the white boulder, I said, now look to the left of it. You'll see them. There's 3 people with a little dog. And finally, when she saw it, she got so excited. Her eyes hadn't adjusted prior to that. And then she said, oh, Daddy, I see them. Oh, it's just like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, is what she said. Because she was now having pleasure in seeing it. And then after maybe 3-4 more minutes, she pulled back, sat on the ground, sitting there thinking. And then she asked me if I had another cigarette. And I said, yeah. And she said, can I have one? And I said, sure. But why? She was only 5 years old. And she said, oh, I want to make an offering to the mountain. And when I said, well, I think the offering we made in the morning lasts throughout the day, that's when she said, oh, no, you don't understand, Dad. I want to thank the mountain for taking my fear away.
Wow.
So I would suggest that to you, is don't underestimate the power of humbling yourself in the presence of something more powerful than yourself and asking it for help.
Okay.
So there's a suggestion, that may work for you. It works for me.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think my final question is there could be many questions. There could be final questions for this conversation. Maybe instead of me giving him a direction through a question, Laurie, just your final thoughts on whatever comes to your mind.
Oh,
For anything, anybody, for the world, for the universe, for me, it doesn't matter. For the new year, I'm not even telling you the topic, just your final thoughts.
okay. So when I got up this morning, about an hour and a half before you, I made a hot drink, and I had a chance to just reflect, be standing there. It was mild, the temperature was mild, and just look out on things. And I realized, okay, we just had a full moon on the night of the 29th. That's a very powerful thing. And then at 3 a.m. when I got up this morning, it was bright like the daylight. It was amazing. And after the sun rose, I pointed out to you there was two suns. There was the sun in the sky,
Yes.
and it was reflecting off a lake so shiny that it was just as bright as the main sun. So anytime I see an atmospheric anomaly like that, where there's two suns, that to me is a sign. There's something going on. Well, it was your birthday on the 30th, the night of the 29th, the night before your birthday, the full moon, and it's New Year's Eve tonight. And I remembered something I read about the energy of December this year. And it said that on the night of the full moon, on the 29th, it's an extremely opportune time to visualize and put into a solid form what your intentions are for the coming year. So I thought, well, that's what's going on right now when you see the two suns. So I wondered, okay, well, what's my intention for this coming year? And my intention for the coming year was to get fitter and stronger and get out and try to climb every weekend on something that's challenging for me, something that's difficult and hard. Because although I'm 71, and although I feel my body at the end of a couple of hard days, like the end of Nahahi Ridge.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, I felt that. And at the end of Northover Ridge, I felt that. So I really felt this morning I was being shown that this is an opportunity. This could be a very different year with the application of strong discipline. Now, in the midst of all this confusion with COVID, I also was reflecting on, I haven't been sick one day this year. Ever since COVID kicked in, my health has been fine. Where normally I'll get a cold a couple of times, just nothing. So, having been to so many funerals over the last 20 years, I kind of realized I don't want to stop climbing. I love it too much. I love what I learn in the mountains. So instead of just getting by, I've decided my commitment for this year, 2021, is to become a better climber by being disciplined, so I get my body weight back down to a level where I can climb hard stuff again. I can't now because I don't have the strength in my arms and my body weight is too heavy for the endurance hanging on. But I would suggest to you that just as much as I see that there's an opportunity in this coming year, that tonight, when I leave and you got a few moments alone, reflect on what you want in this coming year. Because in a few hours, it's the new year.
Yes.
Like make something of this unique time we're in. We woke up to an unbelievably beautiful morning. We both saw the double sun.
Yes.
That's a sign to me. There's something going on. So might as well take advantage of it. And I think what's going on is it's an opportunity. Really look in your heart what you want to have happen this year. You can share it or not share it. But you should be clear with yourself what that is. I'm clear with what I want for this year.
Nice.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, Laurie leaves me with a great thought to find my intentions for the coming year and what I want.
Well, think
to
of it this
become.
way. If this coming year is filled with nothing but opportunity, well, what do you want to take advantage of? You got your health, you got your
Yes.
mental health, your physical health.
Yes.
You mentioned little things about forgetting this, that, and that. They're minor. We all deal with that, right? So what do you want to do with it? You're getting ready for Everest, but you need to ask yourself, well, what am I longing for? Do that exercise. Read the 9 basic human needs and remind me again next time we get together what your 3 primary needs are. Remember, mine's freedom, adventure, and exchange.
Yes.
And you definitely have adventure as one of yours.
Freedom, hands down. I want freedom for sure.
Well, then, freedom means autonomy, not being afraid to make choices. And that would be the area I'd say we mentioned earlier you could work on a bit, having more confidence in yourself. Not letting it turn to arrogance, just confidence. And don't be hard on yourself when you try something that doesn't work. So it didn't work. Lick your wounds and get back at it.
Well, thank you. I don't want to even rephrase what Laurie said because you heard him directly. And I truly want to thank Laurie for his conversation today. Also, I'm very, very grateful to Laurie for what he has brought in my life. So, Laurie, one more time, thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year.
And happy birthday to you, too.
Could I place this video on YouTube?
If you want to, sure.
Thank you.
I got no problem with it.
All the best, everybody, and Happy New Year.